Where Colin was wrong.
Probably been a little tough on Brock Purdy, or maybe he's just getting better because the last month, Brock Purdy's aggressiveness, efficiency, movement has been stuff for the ages. And yeah, I know Garoppolo was good in San Francisco. It wasn't this good. He wasn't this aggressive. I thought yesterday was as good as he's played. Just making, ad-libbing, playing within structure. And I like the fact that he throws a pick six and it doesn't get him down. It doesn't change his mood or body language. Number 2, red zone offense. I know Kyle Shanahan's great, but this is the best quarterback play he's had since Matt Ryan won the MVP.
You know, I appreciate Collins' approach. I might have judged Brock Purdy a bit too severely initially, though perhaps he's simply improved. His comment was essentially a way of stating that his original assessment wasn't entirely off base. It's more that Purdy has developed into a superior quarterback compared to his earlier form. It's like, all right, fair enough, but it's also a roundabout way of acknowledging an error. The 49ers are 12-4. They're excelling. Brock Purdy is excelling. They're commanding. Here's the thing. You can't endorse two contradictory positions. You cannot simultaneously discuss the Chicago Bears as championship contenders, tout Caleb Williams as a generational talent, and then witness Brock Purdy's performances without elevating Purdy to the highest possible tier. It's logically inconsistent. You simply cannot advocate for both stances. Fortunately, the 49ers, and Brock to a large extent, have received their due recognition. There have been occasional, sporadic attempts to minimize or qualify their achievements, but they are competing for the top playoff seed. That isn't a fluke. Brock Purdy's exceptional play isn't accidental. This squad is precisely focused, and it's incredible to witness. The 49ers faithful are in a frenzy currently. I sense it. I always incorporate my little spiel where I mention, please remember to view the entire video and subscribe. When you all do that, view counts skyrocket. Subscriber numbers explode. It becomes phenomenal, right? These are the analytics I display. And it's accurate. When you watch the full video and subscribe during it, every metric shoots vertically. It's astonishing. Presently, 49ers supporters are generating absolute bedlam. You are viewing the content, subscribing. It creates what I continually describe as an avalanche effect. The 49ers are simply executing on the field. I am immensely grateful. All I can request is that you continue. Please keep subscribing. Please keep watching videos in their entirety because I genuinely perceive the vigor. I recently produced this 49ers-focused video. Let me check the stats immediately. It is presently at 31,400 views. It is trending to become one of my most viewed uploads ever, and we are approaching 400 comments. That, to me, is the essence. Those dialogues, fostering genuine discussions. So, accolades to the 49ers fan base. You are putting in the work. I am eagerly anticipating that matchup. Seahawks versus 49ers. Was it moved to a primetime slot? Indeed, that contest is scheduled for Saturday. Seattle visiting San Francisco at 8 p.m. in Santa Clara, California. Interestingly, the Seahawks are favored by 1.5 points. Remarkable. I will undoubtedly be covering the post-game analysis. I may even be able to broadcast that game live. There's a possibility. Saturdays can be somewhat unpredictable, but I might manage it because Sunday will undoubtedly be hectic, with significant playoff positioning occurring across the league. I could potentially stream for the entirety of that day, though I'm not entirely certain. The date is January 3rd. I am tremendously excited. A part of me wished some of these scenarios hadn't materialized because I considered the benefit of players resting. However, another part thinks we shouldn't be deprived of what is essentially an additional postseason game, because that is what this transforms into. This is monumental. Absolutely monumental. Previously, before the 49ers commenced this current streak of play, I would have possessed considerably greater assurance. Now, do not misinterpret greater assurance as implying I believed defeating the 49ers would be straightforward for the Seahawks or anything of that nature. Rather, I was more confident that Seattle would manage to handle their business with the top seed at stake, while perhaps the 49ers were contending for the 5th or 6th seed. They were somewhat in that range. Or, if they were pursuing the top seed, it wasn't necessarily predicated on absolutely elite, top-tier quarterback play and overall football excellence across these recent weeks. Now, however, the 49ers possess tremendous momentum. It is a genuine toss-up now. I do maintain that the Seattle Seahawks defense is significantly superior to what the 49ers have encountered lately. That appears rather evident. Therefore, it will be intriguing to observe how this defense schemes for San Francisco. Furthermore, listen. The 49ers defense has been experiencing difficulties, and that Seahawks offense is quite potent. Consequently, the confrontation will be exceptionally fascinating. If the 49ers devise a method to secure victory in that game, they would unequivocally have to be considered the foremost Super Bowl favorite. Not solely because they would secure the #1 seed, which obviously provides a substantial advantage, but even setting that aside, if we merely evaluate the caliber of play and teams league-wide, you would be compelled to rank them first. How could you position them elsewhere? Their seeding would be a true reflection of their identity, and it would be utterly extraordinary. Conversely, if they lose, and it becomes apparent that the Seahawks are superior, or that defense effectively stifles the 49ers' offense, and their own defense cannot compensate due to Seattle's offensive prowess, it would understandably cause some unease. You would begin to ponder, all right, what are our playoff prospects? Then, it becomes contingent on other results. At that juncture, I shouldn't say it depends entirely on other outcomes, but the likelihood would be facing the winner of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus Carolina Panthers matchup, a result you would already know entering your game as they play earlier. I don't recall playoff seeding ever being this profoundly consequential. We've witnessed scenarios where teams sneak into the 7th seed based on complex tiebreakers, but this involves legitimate Super Bowl positioning. The stakes, potential consequences, and rewards that can be attained are enormous. I cannot recollect a situation quite like this. It is somewhat overwhelming to contemplate, honestly. That is why a game of this magnitude possesses the capacity to inflict a dual setback. If you not only lose but are physically dominated, and I'm not specifically referring to injuries, though those are always catastrophic, but simply outplayed in a tough, physically draining contest, and you're playing on Saturday, it's arduous. It's a contest where, if you were destined to lose, you might have been better served resting your key personnel, recuperating, and preparing for the subsequent playoff week, even if it means traveling to Carolina or Tampa Bay. Therefore, losing could feel doubly disheartening, because you potentially had the top seed and the accompanying first-round bye and home field advantage within grasp. By losing, you must immediately play another game mere days later, at the conclusion of an already grueling campaign. So, merely from an energy, morale, and atmosphere perspective, winning would generate an incredible surge. This team's confidence would be stratospheric. This game will embody a playoff environment. It will replicate the sensation of the Detroit Lions versus Minnesota Vikings game recently. Though that particular game wasn't intensely competitive, the energy was present, but the contest itself wasn't. The Lions overwhelmed Sam Darnold and the Vikings. This is another encounter featuring Sam Darnold in consecutive seasons, which is fairly remarkable. Thus, the 49ers have an immense amount for which to play. They are performing at their absolute peak currently, and a triumph here. If any single component of that organization, any coach, player, or staff member, harbors even the slightest sliver of doubt regarding their true quality, their championship capability, defeating the Seattle Seahawks on Saturday to clinch the top seed and a bye would eradicate it. There would be nothing but universal, unwavering conviction within that locker room. Pure belief and energy. San Francisco, they are the sovereigns of collective energy and vibes. They embody it. They have the energy and the crystals aligned. They comprehend this better than anyone. They will perceive it. They will sense it. Should they lose, they might need to burn some sage and affirm, it's acceptable. We remain formidable. We possess this. Let's proceed. It simply constitutes a distinct mindset. Again, I am not attempting to depict a scenario where the season concludes, the bubble bursts. Rather, your bubble continues expanding and expanding. There exists potential for it not to rupture until the subsequent season. You wouldn't need to concern yourself with other matters until March, April, May, June, September. You can legitimately ride this wave presently. It is available. However, you are opposing the Seattle Seahawks, and that is a distinct challenge. I acknowledge you confronted them in Week 1. I was conversing with someone in the comments. I am uncertain if either team will even review that film, because both squads are so transformed. I doubt they will care about Week 1. The Seahawks' offensive approach is wholly different. The 49ers team is completely altered regarding roster composition, injuries, and so forth. That Week 1 game is utterly insignificant. Therefore, this is a novel game, a fresh commencement. For all intents and purposes, this is the postseason. This is the pre-wild card round. I am immensely excited. I am tremendously excited. This probably should have been the Sunday night game rather than Saturday night. However, Saturday nights have been chaotic for football viewership, so we shall observe. Those are my reflections. I would be delighted to hear yours. What are your perspectives regarding the 49ers? Colin conceding he was mistaken about Brock Purdy? Confronting the Seattle Seahawks? Their opportunity to secure the top seed? Brock Purdy can achieve a legendary status here. If he guides this team to a Super Bowl victory, earns Super Bowl MVP, it initiates some extraordinary discussions. Inform me of your thoughts. I peruse every comment. Whether you concur or dissent, let's engage in some discourse. Let's have some debates, but ultimately, let's enjoy ourselves. And please consider subscribing. We are cultivating a fantastic community here, and I would adore for you to participate. I aspire to construct something to which we all feel a connection, something we are genuinely thrilled to join. I believe we are progressing splendidly toward that objective. Please remember to approve this video. It genuinely assists with visibility and the platform's algorithm. Thank you profoundly. Until next time.